An aid convoy entered the city of Sweida in southern Syria via the main highway from Damascus on Thursday, for the first time since a major outbreak of sectarian violence last month shook the country's fragile recovery from nearly 14 years of civil war. According to Associated Press, clashes broke out in mid-July between government forces and local Bedouin tribesmen on one side, and fighters from the country's Druze minority on the other. Hundreds were killed and tens of thousands displaced, and allegations have surfaced of government fighters executing Druze civilians and looting and burning houses. Though the fighting has largely calmed down, government forces have surrounded the southern city. The Druze have said that little aid is going in, calling it a siege. Sweida's provincial government said in a statement Thursday that a convoy had arrived in the city via the main highway, carrying UN aid intended to meet the residents' basic needs. State-run Al Akhbariyah TV said the convoy included 18 trucks carrying food baskets, cleaning supplies and solar-powered lamps. The main highway had been closed since the fighting, with the aid convoys that did go in taking a circuitous route by way of Dara province, which is south of Sweida. UN humanitarian coordinator for Syria Adam Abdelmullah in a statement last week after visiting Sweida said that the health system was under severe strain, with hospitals and clinics facing acute shortages of essential medications, including insulin, dialysis supplies, and cancer treatments. The statement added that prices for basic goods had soared, with families waiting in long lines for fuel and other essentials. Humanitarian assistance alone cannot resolve these challenges, it said. Restoring safe and reliable flows of commercial goods is critical to stabilizing the situation and preventing further deterioration. A heavy Russian drone and missile attack on Ukraine's capital killed at least 8 people and injured many more early on Thursday. According to Associated Press, the number of dead and injured was expected to rise as rescue teams continued to search for people trapped underneath the rubble. Russia launched decoy drones, cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, according to the head of Kiev's city administration. At least 20 locations across 7 districts of Kyiv had impacts. Nearly 100 buildings were damaged, including a shopping mall in the city center, and thousands of windows were shattered, he said. A 5-story residential building in the Darnitsky district was hit directly, while a rare strike in central Kyiv left a major road strewn with glass. It was the first major Russian combined attack on Kyiv in weeks as US-led peace efforts to end the 3-year war struggled to gain traction. It also was one of the few times Russian attacks reached the heart of the Ukrainian capital since the start of the full-scale invasion. The national railway operator, meanwhile, reported damage to its infrastructure in the Vinnytsia and Kyiv regions, causing delays. Thursday's attack is the first major combined Russian mass drone and missile attack to strike Kyiv since US President Donald Trump met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska earlier this month to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. While a diplomatic push to end the war appeared to gain momentum shortly after that meeting, few details have emerged about the next steps. Responding to the attack, President Volodymyr Zelensky wrote on social media that it was time for new, tough sanctions against Russia. He said Moscow chooses ballistics instead of the negotiating table and did not fear the consequences of its actions.
powerful explosion occurred on the Ryazan-Moscow main oil pipeline in the Ryazan region, which led to the suspension of oil product deliveries to the Russian capital. This was reported by Ukrainian media with reference to sources in the main intelligence directorate of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. According to sources, a major fire broke out after the explosion at a section of the pipeline near the village of Bozatkovo, with firefighters, police and repair crews arriving at the scene. Local residents report extensive damage, a protected area and closed access to the accident site. According to the main intelligence directorate, the pipeline has been used by Transneft since 2018 to transport motor gasoline, including for the needs of the Russian army. After the explosion, fuel pumping towards Moscow was suspended for an indefinite period. The Ryazan-Moscow main oil product pipeline leads directly to the territory of the Moscow oil refinery in Kapotnya, the capital of the Russian Federation. About 197 kilometers long, it is designed to transport oil products from the Ryazan region to Moscow. Along the way, it passes through the Moscow region, including the regions of Leninsky and Ramensky districts, then enters the capital's Kapotnya district and approaches the MNPZ. This pipeline is one of the key links in Moscow's fuel supply. The explosion has interrupted the transportation of oil products to the capital, and Moscow's energy system may face disruptions in the near future. This is not the first attack on Russian oil infrastructure in recent weeks. Oil refineries in the Volgograd, Rostov and Samara regions, as well as fuel depots in the Krasnodar region, were damaged. Ukraine also disabled the Druzhba oil pipeline by blowing up pumping stations. The Ukrainian side views all these attacks as a response to Russia's constant attacks on Ukrainian energy and civilian infrastructure. The Russian army, including aviation and equipment in the southern direction, depend on uninterrupted fuel supplies. Damage to pipelines and refineries could eventually cause supply disruptions, reduce mobility, and affect the logistics of the Russian armed forces. For the civilian sector, this means increased tension in major cities, including Moscow.